everybody, it's Dipdoodler, and today we're going to be dissecting Lavendertowne. Now if you've been following me for a while, you may remember me making one on her already. While I did already go over and draw a picture with the pieces, I wasn't happy with that video for personal reasons. So today I'm going to be trying to do a better job and write a better love letter to Lavendertowne. I love going over unique styles, and Lavendertowne has one of the most unique styles I've ever seen. There's a reason that so many people include her art style when they do art style challenges. I've been watching her videos for years now, so it's time to give her the dissection she deserves. Let's go! Now this art style has a lot going on in it, so excuse me if I ramble about certain aspects of it. I'm going to be focusing on her bendy arm style, as it's my favorite form of her art. Instead of listing off certain things, I'm going to pick one aspect of her art and go over all the details about that piece. For example, her eyes are huge, much larger than one eye width apart. The shape of the eye is more rounded than others, looking more like circles than pointed. They're expressive and a lot of them have eyelashes that poke out at the sides. A distinct part of her style is the way the irises look. She uses little symbols and shapes to represent the character's vibes or emotions that they're feeling at the time. Also, the iris usually takes up most of the white of the eye. In some of her illustrations, she includes under-eye bags represented by dark and small strokes under the eyes. I personally love this, so I'll be including it in my own drawing later on. Moving on to the hair, if I had to describe it in 2 words, it would be bubbly and chunky. She separates the pieces of the hair into pretty big chunks. While she uses straight lines in the hair, she also uses many rounded lines when constructing certain characters. She often uses more saturated colors to cel shade the hair and highlights the hair with shapes, usually ovals. She uses hatches on small parts of the hair to give it texture, which I find fascinating and really pretty to look at. I want to allow myself to be creative and have fun with this, so I'll be using stars as the highlights in my character's hair. Now I'll be going over more simple body construction things. Firstly, the heads are much larger than the shoulders and the rest of the bodies, and are very round. The arms are another key part of her style, being more rubber hose type like classic cartoons. That simply means that there aren't super obvious joints in the construction of the arms, leaving them more loose and free to move in any way you want. The hands are also very small and only have 4 fingers, like old cartoons too. The legs are usually top-heavy, being thick at the top before tapering into small, if any, feet. I adore this stylistic choice personally, as I find it cute. She almost always includes blush into her art, going over the blush with little hatchings as well. Her noses are usually small little triangles colored in a light pink. The mouths are usually also small and cartoony, stylized by being more round when open. Lastly, let's talk about line art and coloring. I've noticed she uses a lot of line variations in her art, which is going to be a little bit of a struggle for me, as I usually just pick one line thickness and roll with it, but I'll try my best to include this into the final illustration. She uses a lot of pretty pastels. It's not as if she only uses pastels, but it's enough to notice in many of her drawings, so I'll be using pastels and mainly focusing on that in my own drawing. Okay, now that I've cut apart her art style, let's see if we can piece them together to make a drawing of our own. I found Lavendertowne's style when I was in middle school, and over the years it's inspired me to push my creativity and try to develop it further than I've been. Her style is so realized and perfected, it makes me want to try and do that with my own. I still have a long way to go in developing my own, but with her as a guideline, I've made huge progress in doing so. I feel like people worry too much and too little about their art style. Too much as in people tend to stress about making all their art uniform and the same, which leaves their art not much room to grow and removes their ability to be truly creative in their illustration. At the same time, some people don't worry about it at all, and while that is fine, it can leave their art looking disjointed and hard to pinpoint. I feel there's a happy medium, one that I'm trying to look out for so I can grow in ways I want to. Unrelated but kinda in the same realm of what I was saying, Lavendertowne's Do This Not That series has helped me so much as well. If I had to pick one that helped me the most recently, it would have to be her video from 2021 about how to fix boring or stiff art. I've kinda stagnated in my art for a long time, only doing bust shots and safe artwork. Art that doesn't make me try too hard or push myself creatively outside of my comfort zone. It's easy to stay in a nice little bubble with things you know you'll like, and you kinda get lulled into making the same thing over and over again, just because it's familiar and not challenging at all. It can be frustrating when trying something new, because you're not going to be good at the first time you try. Heck, you might not be good after the 20th time, but the only way to grow is to push yourself to try, and if you end up not liking it after countless times, it's okay to step away and take a break, but you shouldn't give up. I know this has been said a million different ways, but I think it's important. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. So even if you're not happy with your art and how many times you're unhappy with it, it's still worth doing. It's worth trying. Sorry that turned into a lecture. I'm just very passionate about people not giving up on their dreams, because I've been at the point many times myself. It's really easy to get discouraged, especially as an artist. When people are telling you your art is terrible and that you'll never get better, it not only hurts, but it can kill your passion for it. Now, people will not stop being awful. There will always be people telling you that you're not good enough, and that sucks. But just know, even if your art isn't where you want it to be, and even if everyone around you is telling you it's bad, if you have even a little bit of passion for it, it's worth doing. This probably won't mean anything to you, but I'll always support everyone's creativity around me, and I hope you all will as well. Artists gotta support artists, you know? And there you have it. If you're interested in the video I mentioned before by Lavendertowne, please check out my description below. If you're interested in my art outside of YouTube too, check out my Instagram in the description below also. Thanks so much for watching! See you later, guys!